Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. How's it going, my friends? My name is Seth Juarez. Welcome to this fabulous Monday morning, Monday afternoon, or Monday evening, wherever you're coming from. I'm excited to be here. I'm not zoomed in enough. Hold on, let me see. Is that... There you go. Not too... A or B? A, B, A, B, B, B. There you go. All right, everybody. Where's everybody coming from? Tell us where you are and where you're coming from. Maybe even what time it is you're watching it. Maybe we can do a special, like, what's your favorite dessert? You know, just to get to know each other. I feel like I don't get to know each other enough. All right. We've got an exciting show today. Let me share my screen here. We can talk about what we're going to do. Boop. I have a whole thing of sound effects, but I still do them with my mouth because secretly I'd love to be a beatboxer. I mean, I think that's the real news here for everybody. I mean, I think I'd be a good one. I mean, you can't beat that. I'm just saying. I mean, I could be the world's worst beatboxer or a second-rate live streamer. I mean, either one is a good option, I think, for me. Number one today. Oh wow! This is the last color I left it off on. That's interesting. Let's go down here. Today we've got some good stuff today. We have number one, Liam come in. Kavanaugh, without a U. It's important. He's going to talk about search strategies. And I think it has really a lot to do with for LLMs, right? Because there was a couple of things. Every time I do vector search, in Azure Cognitive Search particularly, there's a lot of knobs and bells and buttons that I didn't understand at all. And so I thought, having come on this time, and then maybe in 2 weeks, or a couple of weeks after Ignite, Microsoft Ignite, which is a conference we put on where we share all of the new goodness. Maybe you can come back and tell us more stuff. And then number two, I think we started a content safety thing. We're going to go back and look at that. And then maybe, if there's time, we're going to look at some prompt flow custom tools. Prompt flow custom tools. I don't know. I was trying to make it exciting there. I don't know what you think about that. Was it exciting if I did it that way? Oh, and then the other thing is that, and we don't do this enough, is at the end of the show, like maybe even this, like maybe we'll put a question mark. Your cues, your questions, and I'll just show you whatever it is you want. Maybe we'll do that. So if you have ideas, get them in. By the way, there's a 30-second delay between when I say something and when you hear it, just FYI. Censorship. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see where everybody's coming from here. Michigan, 11:30. Don't steal my signs. I'm just saying. That's an inside joke. Here we go, Austin, Texas. Welcome, my friend. 10:33, pretty much anything chocolate. I wish I was, I'm going to lose people here, but I wish I was more of a chocolate guy. I just am emment. That's what it should be, the word in English. I just emment. Ciao from Stockholm. Hello, my friend. Beatboxer AI with Seth. Janet screen number 7. He brings up the rear in Twitch. Hello? Is anyone else here? How many people are there on Twitch? I don't know. And then we have London. Welcome. I love London, fair city. I could live there, seriously. I took my wife there a couple times, and she's like, I could live here. You know, maybe. Roy from India. Hello, my friend. Welcome. Let's see. John Pointer, amazing beatboxer from Austin. I've heard the name. We have Poland, our neighbors up north here in Canada. Thank you for coming. I wish I wasn't the chocolate person. You know, in the interest of oversharing, I'm lactose intolerant. Not that it bothers me, but it bothers other people when I drink any dairy products. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right. Let me turn this off and let's see. Liam, you ready? You ready, Liam?
I'm ready.
I'm sorry about the lactose thing, man. I don't know. I'm oversharing today, Liam.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Mina's going to agree with me about butter tarts from Canada.
Oh,
awesome dessert.
Mhm.
So
Any others? But they're called. What are they called?
Butter tarts. Think of it as like a pecan pie, down to like a pie size, but a tart size. Without
it's just weird because butter tart was my nickname in high school.
But that's another show.
Oh man, I had that button ready for the. Oh, I teared up. Butter tart.
There you go.
We're gonna lose people, but that's okay. I think that was the greatest joke I'm gonna have in the first half hour. Liam, I'm excited. Let's just cut it there. I'm excited to hear, Liam. You're all things search. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing really well, and looking forward to going through the show, showing a couple things. Plus, we got that Ignite coming up, so yeah,
that's right.
A lot of
that's
stuff.
right. Maybe we can preview stuff, like say, hey, it's going to be a good show. We can't say anything about it because, like, I love my job, but we can preview, like, hey, there's going to be sessions, and there's probably going to be keynotes, and maybe we'll even live stream some stuff.
Yeah. Few hints here and there.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of options.
We got that. Okay, so let me turn this off. We actually recorded this before, but to be honest with you, we could have just done it here too, because we did it in one shot, I think, right?
We did.
And I remember Liam's been on so many times. I was just like, he's like, I want to talk about. I'm like, don't tell me. I have questions. Let's just go with my questions. He's like, all right. And so these are legit questions that I had. Hopefully you'll like it. So let me play this right now. Take a listen. You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show, where we talk all about semantic search benchmarking with my friend Liam Kavanaugh. Make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about semantic search benchmarking with my friend Liam Kavanaugh. How you doing, Liam?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back again, Seth.
Oh man, we love having you on. He is all things Azure Cognitive Search. Now, here's the thing, and I know we have a show that we're supposed to do, but I do retrieval augmented generation all the time. I do the demo with Azure Data all the time. And now that I've got you here, I'm just going to ask you, I always get confused with all of the options that I have to choose from, because there's like the keyword, there's the semantic, there's the hybrid, and then I don't know if there's another one, but I always pick the one all the way at the bottom because I feel like it's the most powerful one. Can you help me understand those things? And then let's get into what you want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that's definitely one of the things that I want to focus on, is that it's true. There's so many different options. You mentioned a couple: keyword, vectors, hybrid, semantic. There's all these things. How do you choose the right thing? And so the way that I wanted to share this is that you think of keyword as the traditional way, like where people put in words and they could get back responses. If I put in the word run, search engines could understand variations of words like run, runner, running, which was great. And that was kind of the state of the art for search. But then these vectors things came out. And what vectors allowed us to do was to actually represent words and phrases and sections of text as a set of numbers in a vector space. And all that does is it says, okay, if I'm asking this question, putting this query, it can vectorize it, and then it can find things that are similar, semantically similar, like Zurich and Switzerland are similar. And this was like a leapfrog in us, allowing us to be able to see so much more in the data. And then hybrid allows us to make use of both the great parts of keywords, great parts of vectors all together. And then semantic just adds things even more. And in fact, I'll show you a little bit more about what that means in a few minutes.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, so I understand vectors because I come to the world of machine learning.
Mhm.
I understand keywords. So what you're doing is you're doing them both at the same time. Is that what that's doing, or is it more than that?
So it does do them both at the same time. And so there's actually some advantages to doing just traditional keyword search. Some things that keywords are just really good at, textual search, like emails, product names, things like that. It's just really good at. Vector search is good for more of the intent or the types of questions you want to do. So if we do them both together, get the score from one and the score from other, and merge them together,
Oh,
it
I see.
allows us to do the best of both, which gives us hybrid search.
I see. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So effectively, it's like you send the text and the vector to the search engine, to Azure Cognitive Search. You do two searches, and then you kind of mix them back together.
Exactly.
Oh, that makes
Exactly.
sense. So let's talk about semantic, the other one. What's the other one called? Can you explain that one to me?
Yeah, that's the next level. So there's something called semantic search. And so the way that I think about it is just as you said, when you execute keyword, vector, or hybrid, that goes in as one, and you get some results back. And usually they're quite effective in using hybrid, but not always. So what semantic search does is it does a second level of ranking. So think of the first phase, L1, sometimes they call it. You get some results, and then the semantic ranker takes that and uses an additional advanced model, which we actually leverage from our partnership with Bing, to go through that, look at the intent of what people really want, and see, should I resort this a little bit? And we've seen that that provides a significant improvement in the overall results. So traditionally, hybrid with semantic is the most effective way to get the most relevant results.
Oh, I see. So, so keyword and vector are similar-ish. They're just like find me the things that are like this thing.
Mhm.
But the semantic search that goes on afterwards re-ranks them according to
You got
machine
it.
learning type models.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Seth,
Okay.
do you mind if I show you an example? Because
Yeah,
maybe
let's do
we're
that.
looking at a
Let's do
demo that
screen up,
might
and maybe you can help me out here.
cool. So what I have here is I have this example notebook that I put together, and just imagine that I have a set of human resource documents. Somebody from a company wants to be able to ask questions about it, and I want to be able to get answers from it. That's a perfect example of using this type of a system, hybrid with semantic. And you can imagine why things like vectors are very good. So let's say I was trying to learn more about underwater activities that are covered by my plan. Well, if we look at the results here, I'm not going to focus too much on this, but you can imagine why vectors are very good at that because it understands underwater scuba activity lessons. You can see why a traditional keyword search would not do well, but vectors do really well. So it allows us to get these results. But if let's try to do a slightly different example, something that is a very common thing for people to want to do, but it's not something that's necessarily great for vectors. So I'm going to change this query, and I'm going to search for this email. So somewhere in this document, let's say I wanted to follow up with a compliance officer. I know there's an email, and I wanted to look it up. As I mentioned, vectors are not traditionally very effective at things like this or keywords. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this search query. And you remember I told you there's three different things that we can do. There's keyword, there's vectors, and then there's semantic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tell Azure Cognitive Search to just do a traditional textual search. So it's just going to take that email and it's going to go and search for it. And we can see keyword search does really well. It got the response in the top result. But let me change this now, and I'm going to do just a vector search and search for that. If we look down at the results, you'll notice I'm getting only the top 5, but we don't actually get any of the results
Interesting.
back. So this is an example where one works well, but the other doesn't, Seth.
Yeah, and
So
that makes sense to me because like it's almost like the old school days of fuzzy search where it's like I know
yes,
somebody said something about this specific thing in
you
an
got
email. That's a keyword search. Or someone was talking about their demo at Ignite because we're at Ignite fever here right now, and that feels more like a vector, like intent you're trying to find. And so I see the difference. So does it feel like I'm getting it a little bit better?
Yeah, you're absolutely getting it. And hopefully now we're kind of seeing how like sometimes keyword is great, sometimes vector is great, but wouldn't it be great if we could combine them both? It's like, hey, you got your peanut butter in my chocolate type thing. And that's where this hybrid search comes in. So let me bring back this query, and I'm going to do both the two together, which gives us the hybrid. And when we search for that, we'll notice that it still didn't get it in the top result, but it did get it. Down, it's actually in the fifth result here. So this is where we kind of see that hybrids actually, doing better than just vectors because we were able to get a result. It wasn't perfect, but it was there. Now, wouldn't it be great if I could add another re-ranking layer, an L2, to kind of go through these results and see if they, based on the intent, was there anything that I could get that was more effective? And that's where this semantic search comes in. So let me bring this back up. I'm going to add in the semantic search. I'm going to search for that. And you'll notice we got the result back and it was at the top. So it didn't matter if I was asking an intent-based question, that vector is great, or a keyword. Combining them both with a re-ranking provides what we're seeing to be the most effective result, Seth.
And that's interesting, right? Because especially when you're doing retrieval augmented generation, there is
Mhm.
almost never clarity about, are they
You're
searching
right.
for a specific thing or are they like, I just want a tent, because those are very different kinds of searches. And you're saying that's okay. We can do the laser approach or the wide approach by going, laser with keyword, wide with vector, and then the re-ranker can go ahead and fix the mess afterwards.
Yeah, you're right. And that's another fact about these enterprise chat applications is that you want to get the most relevant information in the top couple of results because you can't send 50 results to OpenAI expect to get an answer. You need to be efficient. And sometimes there's actually multiple answers, right? You might need to have a couple of pieces of results to get the full response. So that's why it's so
Yeah.
important to have a highly relevant system.
Yeah, and not only that, it's just that you can only fit so much in the prompt, and you wanna
Exactly.
have just the absolute best end things to put in the prompt, so you're not stuffing junk in there, because the LLM will have to reason over junk, and it's gonna have to figure it out, throw it wha maybe not have the LLM figure that out and just give it exactly what it needs.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And yeah, thanks, Seth. And it's easy to show one example where this works well, but one of the things that I wanted to share with you and the listeners is we actually just published
Ooh.
this blog post here. And this is a full benchmark that we put together that shows the effectiveness of doing hybrid with semantic. And I want to highlight this particular section right here. And one of the things that you'll see here is that we ran tests of hybrid with semantic over industry benchmarks, BEAR, for example.
Mhm.
We have real customer data sets. So not just like the nice, small chunk size content, but really massive documents. And you'll see here in every single case, including the multilingual one, that hybrid with semantic search provide significantly better than all of the other options available.
That's awesome.
So we highly recommend people try this
Can you
approach
control
first.
plus a couple of times? Because I wanna make
Oh,
sure people can see
absolutely.
that
Sorry.
table.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that logically just makes sense that if you combine keyword and vector and then intelligently re-rank them, that you're gonna
Exactly.
get the best of everything.
Yeah, yeah, we have definitely seen this. So we've had this updated semantic search model out for a little bit of time now, and we've heard some really positive feedback from our customers. So I'm really hopeful that yourself and your viewers will give this a try.
So I don't know if you have anything for this, but my last question, if that's okay, is if someone wants to get started like making a thing, is I'm a developer at heart, you are too. Do you have any
Yeah.
suggestions for something they could do to use this information together with maybe an LLM?
Thanks for asking. In fact, we actually just released a solution accelerator. I'm going to go to this link this page right here. And right from here, you can learn very, very deeply all of the things that you need to build out one of these advanced enterprise chat, these RAG-based applications. It talks a lot more about hybrid and semantics best practices. So it's a great place to learn as well as to start building out one of these production applications.
Well, that's amazing. I'm going to put the link right here so folks can go to it. As always, this was super informative, my friend. Like I said, this isn't a joke. Like right before we started this episode, I was like, "Don't tell me anything. I have questions." And he's like, "Okay, good." So just a couple of things. Make sure you take a look at the blog here with the benchmarks. I think that's awesome. And then the solution accelerator if you want to get started. Any final words, Liam?
No, I just hope that people will give us a try. Come watch the Ignite conference. We have some really cool things, including some ease of use tools to make this even easier. I hope people will check this out at Ignite.
I'm going to hold you to coming back so that we can. There's probably some stuff you are holding back for the show at Ignite. Will you come back and show me those things?
I would be happy to. I'd love to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about semantic search benchmarking with Liam Kavanaugh. This has been another episode of the AI Show. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. How about them apples?
That was fun.
I know. By the way, when we did this, it was all one take. We didn't. Yeah. I don't think I edited anything out. It is all the same. All right. So there was some questions. Let's see if I can't. I don't know why my chat isn't refreshing here. Let me close this because there was a really good question from CJ. Yeah. So the question is, are you getting charged for multiple searches here? Can you use the semantic search alone? What's the value add of the other two? You may cover this before you see this.
Yeah, those are all great questions. I saw that too. And I'm going to break it down. So since semantic is an L2, you can't just do it by yourself. You need to do something. You do an L1 of some sort before you do the semantic. However, that doesn't mean you need to do hybrid. I mean, you could do keyword and add semantic to it. You could do vector, just vector, and add semantic to it. So all of those are possible. It's just, as we've gone through all the combinations, the hybrid with semantic generally does the best. And then just from the cost perspective, we're talking about hints. I'll mention that there may or may not be an update to our the business model for the semantic search part at Ignite. So, watch for that, because there is an additional charge, but we're trying to make it so that people don't even think about it. Like, you just want to use it all the time.
So stay tuned for next week. Because Ignite is Microsoft Ignite is next week, right?
That's right. It's coming up quick.
Oh my goodness. We all sweat bullet. Like, I'll tell you that there's so much preparation that goes into these conferences. You have a talk, right, Liam?
I do. We have a couple of things, breakouts, demos. We have a bunch of really cool things coming up.
And I think the schedule is public. And so if you search for Liam Kavanaugh and maybe Pablo Castro, who does all this good stuff, you'll be able to. Oh, look, they were very helpfully adding the link here to it. So you can take a look at this here. Go to ignite.com, ignite.microsoft.com, and then the other part will just come out. So go there. You can search for. I don't think I have any sessions myself, but I might be helping with some sessions. Just throw it out there. All right. Here's another question from LinkedIn. Here, let me move this over because I'm old. Can tagging enhance semantic or hybrid search, and how would you approach that? From Alexandros.
Yeah, another great question. One of the things that obviously we didn't have time to dig into, but when you set up the semantic search, you actually give the configuration some hints. You say, this is my title field. This is my text field. You can also say, here are my collections or categories or tags. And so because of the way that the model has been trained, it's been very effective at being able to handle these variations and types of content. So I'm really happy you asked that question, because yes, things like that can make big impacts on it. It's just not always that customers have the ability to create those tags or create those collections. I mean, obviously, GPT is pretty amazing at helping you create those,
Yeah.
but it's not always there.
So I had a squirrel moment. Are you saying you can tag stuff and that does help in the search ranking?
Yeah, it absolutely can. When we have seen that, and obviously that depends on how effective those tags are. Like, I mean, if they are very close to the intent or the specifics of that content, yes, they can make big impacts. I wish I had a benchmark to show, but definitely we have seen some benefits to it.
By the way, if you did miss it, there was a getting started thing that you can get chat with your data solution accelerator. So go to that link. I'll leave it up for a little bit. Can you tell us more about this thing, because we didn't have a chance to talk about it? What is this? What does this actually do?
The solution accelerator you're
Correct.
referring to, yeah.
Yeah.
So what we did is, as you know better than mostly anybody, is like things have been moving so quickly.
Right.
We put out this demo repository, put a blog. Hundreds of thousands of people have viewed it. It's been very popular, but it was meant as a demo. It was meant for people to get up and running and see how all this RAG chat over your data works. We didn't have time at the time to actually show people all the things that you need to think about. What's vector? What's hybrid? How do I think about this? How do I scale it? How do I put it into production? All of these concepts are hard and people need to think
Yeah.
about it. And that's really the purpose of this accelerator, is to help people learn that, apply best practices, whether it's from Azure, open source, or other purposes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And so go there, and it's a GitHub repo, right?
It is. It is. Yes.
So there's some code in there. You can take a look at it. It's all glorious. Here's another one. Tell us a little more about this blog. I think it was. Does this have all the results that you were showing before?
Yeah. So when we were watching the recording, this is the blog that, in partnership with Bing, we put together this semantic ranker, semantic search capability, and so he put together through his team a full benchmark, and it's very thorough. Really gets into a lot of details on these variations and why semantic search does so well.
Amazing. All right, here's some questions from LinkedIn. Do you see the questions coming out, or because some of them are not working?
I do.
I've never tried this chat overlay. Look at that. This is new. But it's not. New comments will display here. Maybe I shouldn't do that. This is a family show. The question is a question from France. This is Jan Bilisor. Do you plan to normalize the score returned by the semantic search? Most of the time, it's around 0.30. Can you explain? Like, there's a lot of nuance to that question that I think I'm missing. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So a score is something whenever you execute a search, search systems, including Azure Cognitive Search, will give it a score, a weighting as to how important this is.
Mhm.
And they can really vary in numbers. But when Jan is talking about the normalization, trying to make it so that it's, 0 to 1 or whatever it might be. Now, Jan is saying that he seems to see that it's almost always 0.3 for the top ones. And so under the covers, we're using something called reciprocal rank fusion, which is a very popular way of merging scores from text keywords as well as from vectors together. And that's why the score is the way it is. However, we are absolutely looking at different approaches because, for example, you might say, you know what, it's great you're doing these both together, but I actually find vectors are more important, or I want to use a different algorithm from RRF. So we are absolutely looking at it. Great question, just not there in this current implementation.
And that's a very nuanced question, because obviously when you do two different searches and you have to fuse those things together, there's some mathematical approach that you need to take, and you got to just choose one. And the one that's the state of the art is the one that what did you say? Was it something fusion, re-ranking?
Reciprocal rank fusion, RRF.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Does the OData filter run with priority on shards? Wow, these are so good, such good questions.
Yeah, these people know their stuff. This is great.
Yeah. Does the OData filter run with priority on shards before semantic full text hybrid search? Query engine applies first hard filter where create on equals 1, and then on this chunk apply semantic search.
Yeah, that's a great question, because one of the things that we have been working hard is like these before filters. Being able to narrow it down for efficiency. Before and after filters is often a very common thing. So definitely, please take a look at some of the recent updates to our SDK on that.
I love it.
Great question.
I love it. And then here's another one. Is there any application of lexicological search within retrieval augmented generation frameworks, particularly in scenarios where a language model identifies keywords to aid in retrieval process?
Wow.
That is, are you impressed that I said lexicological without even a beat?
You nailed that. That is
Thank
great. I'm just trying to think of some examples. So I'm going to answer this in one way, and I'm not sure if this is where I hope I get his name right.
Che Gamble, yes.
Che, thank you, is looking for. Like some of the things that we have seen, like for example, name search, first name, last name. We have seen like cases where some of these LLMs, some of these models do not do so well. And equally, keywords don't always do well. Like think of my last name. You said it at the start. You spelt it without a U, but sometimes it has a U. Sometimes it's a K for Kavanaugh. So all these different variations to it. And there are a lot of ways that you can actually apply different LLMs, different models, different approaches to be able to vectorize it, optimize for that type of content. So I'm not sure if this is necessarily where he was going with this question, but there's definitely cases where you might want to create more custom models for that specific use case. And there's advantages, right? Because you can create very compute optimized, memory optimized, space optimized models for those cases.
That's cool. And then Pablo, if you don't know who Pablo is, we should have just, if Pablo's going to be watching, we should have just had him here. Adding to Liam's answer on normalization. Keyword, by the way, he is our distinguished engineer that leads the cognitive search team. And so he knows the answer. Keyword search scores, BM25, are not normalized, but semantic ranking scores are normalized. They can be used for comparisons, thresholds, etc. We should have just had Pablo come and answer this question. Pablo, like, every time I have a question, I'm like, and this is so privileged of me. I just like message him on Teams, and he's so kind and answers my questions, even though he doesn't have to. He's such a good dude. But yeah, so looks like semantic ranking scores are normalized, but keyword search scores are not normalized, and so that's an important thing. And if anybody knows, he would know. Absolutely. All right, Liam, any other things that you want to add that you think I missed, or questions that I should have asked?
No, I think we got through it all. Like, please check out Ignite next week. Check out, looks like some people shared the link to it, especially as you see you have Pablo Castro's name there. Check out his session. There might be some cool stuff that he's going to go through. So check it out. And I'm looking forward to hopefully coming back soon after that, Seth.
I would love to, because my sense is that there's going to be some good stuff. You're looking at the latest stuff. We're not holding the technology back or anything, but I'm excited for any announcements you may have next week, my friend.
Sounds great.
All right, bud. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. All righty. That was the amazing Liam Kavanaugh. All right. So back to what we got going on here. You recall that there was two options: content safety or your questions. And so get your questions in. If there's something you want to show me, content safety thing. Janice Crew, number 7. Yes. I don't know why my LinkedIn stuff wasn't showing up. But I can still see it over here, so I'm just looking. Yeah, so if you have any questions, I was going to look at a prompt flow thing and try to get the content safety thing working. My sense is that I made a mistake, and I can fix it here pretty shortly. So let me go here, and let me open up the content safety thing that I did last time, but it broke. It broke. Oh, by the way, I'm finally not sick, and it feels glorious. You know how, like, when you get sick and you're like, man, I feel awful, and it feels like it's cleared, and now I'm like a whole new person. Still with the lactose intolerance, though. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that, I don't think. All right, so let's take a look at content safety, Azure Content Safety SDK. I think I was trying to be clever when I did this. By the way, this is a prompt flow. Prompt flow is a low here. Let me tell you. Prompt flow is a low-level, declarative, and powerful LLM orchestrator for LLM applications. Download your copy today. There you go. That was my pitch. By the way, this is one of the products I get to work on, and so I'm a fan. But you might be wondering, well, what's the difference between this and semantic kernel or LangChain? Think of this as the. Oh, I'm a goofball. I have a whole board of stuff, and I'm sitting there control one-ing into this thing. So think of like your LLM model. So here is the LLM. I'm gonna make this bigger. This is very upsetting. What's going on with me? Let me turn this down. So think of your LLM. I'll move this up. So we have a full blank page. So think of your LLM as the bottom layer of things. And then what you have is you have a layer of code, if you're going to ground the thing, where you have some code that like shoots the prompt in the LLM, and then the response comes back. So this is, you can just use code, and it will always work. But you have to find a way to put all the stuff together, and then testing is harder, because the way you test LLMs is just different, right? So think of prompt. Let me do it. Let me make this a different color. Think of prompt flow, which is a feature inside of Azure AI Studio. Think of prompt flow as another thin layer on top of this. So prompt flow as a think of this as a low level declarative orchestrator. What this means is that there always has to be a situation where you create a prompt and call the LLM. There's no way around it. You have to make a prompt. Eventually it comes down to you're calling an LLM. Whatever thing you do beforehand with data stuff has to end up in an LLM with a prompt that you have to write. There's no other way around this. High-level orchestrators are different. And the reason why they're different is because they wrap LLM calls to do useful work. So think of a wrapped LLM call that does useful work. You don't control the prompt here, but what people have done is they've found very useful ways and specific prompts that they see that always works for them, that they've wrapped inside of this thing. So for example, if you were to call something in here, let me bring this up. If you were to call something in here, it's going to do LLM calls on your behalf. Like for example, let me show you one. Because I'm a fan of Anders Hallsberg. There was something called, I think it was TypeLang. LLM TypeScript library Anders. TypeChat. That's what it was. So TypeChat, let me zoom in here so you can see this. So TypeChat, what it is it's an it hides the LLM call for you so that it always returns JSON. So let's see, where's the code? So I'll show you. I think I saw this. So notice that like it always just like add the types and then it does this for you. So TypeChat is already on npm. So let's go to the GitHub repo so you can see it. Here's the source, and remember, all this does is it really wants to. What it does is it wraps an LLM call, so it returns the thing you want. So I'll give you an example. Here is the TypeChat thing. Notice that it's calling OpenAI on your behalf and then running this execution. But let me find the actual prompt here. Okay, is it here in TypeChat? Yes. Okay, cool. Cool. So notice that in TypeChat, you have the prompt in here. because what they've done is they've wrapped it for you. So this is a higher level orchestrator that uses LLMs on your behalf. And notice that the job of this thing is to actually create an output. And not only that, but it looks like they do some validation and repairing, because you can't trust all the time the LLM to respond the right way, or you can jailbreak it so that your JSON return isn't formatted correctly. It will perhaps error. And this is an exact way to use these things. It's awesome, right? Because it does a lot more than just wrap an LLM call on your behalf. It has functionality that helps you use the LLM in a prescriptive way. And so if you look at this, type chat is an example of a high level orchestrator, because it wraps LLM calls. You could use PromptFlow to build a type chat, for example. They didn't need to do that, and they didn't want to do that, which is fine, right? And so you can see in here that everything in here, the prompt is literally burned in to their thing. So it's a high level orchestrator, and you can see the code. The code is pretty clear. I mean, you can see you are a service that translates user requests into JSON objects of type this, according to the following TypeScript definition, and they burn in the type that you created. Here is the request. The following is the user translated into JSON with 2 spaces of indentation and no properties with the value undefined, and that's what it does. And then it tries to repair it. So that's what this is. So to get back to what I was talking about, type chat is an example of a high level orchestration tool, or a high level tool that wraps it. Now, even higher level than this, because this is just a specific function, you have things like LangChain and Semantic Kernel that do things with agents to solve problems. I'll give you an example. So let's go here to Semantic Kernel planners. So notice that with Semantic Kernel, what the planner does is it looks at your request and it has the LLM try to figure out like what your request is and how to fill it. And so, for example, you can create a plugin, and there's a Python version of this which works in PromptFlow. You are creating a series of functions that the LLM can use as it figures out what to do. So, for example, if you say, what's 1 + 1, and you write it out, the LLM will inject the descriptions of these things and then try to figure out which function to call. Function calling is another example of this thing that uses the LLM to solve this problem. And you can see it creates a plan. It does it in Python too. If I have an investment, blah, and blah, 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 it creates a plan and then it executes the plan. And so it uses the LLM. Do you see that? And it create and it prompts us. So that's another thing. So LangChain has this thing, zero shot react LangChain. LangChain has this thing called agents. Wow, this is all coming out in chain. Here we go. LangChain has these things called agents, which are similar to planners, which wrap LLM calls based upon tools that you give it. It's all similar to the plugin method, by the way. And so that's what these things are. And I know I kind of went off on a rant, but people ask me this stuff all the time. You can use LangChain in PromptFlow. You can use Semantic Kernel in PromptFlow. You can use Type Chat in PromptFlow. Well, I guess not, because this is written in JavaScript. But I'm really pushing the team to expand our love of languages with PromptFlow. So think of these as high level orchestrators that wrap LLM calls to do useful work. Okay, does that make sense? Put your questions in, because I know I get this question a lot, and I want to be super clear at what the difference is between these things. With PromptFlow, there is no getting around calling the LLM directly. However, you can in a Python node, and then I was telling you about PromptFlow custom tools. You can write custom tools where you wrap these things and they do useful work. So, for example, you may have created a situation in your organization where you've created a wrapped LLM call that does exactly what you want, but you want to orchestrate it and pass things in at a lower level. That's what prompt flow is for. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. So there's my rant for today. Azure Content Safety SDK. This is what we were going to do. Python. Looks like there was a thing in here and I just never pip installed it. So let's do that. I was trying to like go all the way underneath and do like JSON calls, and it's just I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes you just don't want to. Let's see. Pip install Azure AI Content Safety. Here we go. The magic is happening. Someone's asking me a question that I'm not going to be able to answer, but I want them to know that I am here. No. Is there? Oh, geez, I shouldn't have moved that. Is there any way that Steam will run in Windows 7 again? Man, if I knew the answer to that, I don't know. I think Microsoft doesn't even make Steam. Here's another question: when will MS finally make Windows great again? I like Windows. By the way, Windows is fantastic, and you don't even know the half of it. When it comes to low-level machine learning stuff, I know everyone's all Linux is all the rage, but there is some cool OS level stuff, and I can't even talk about it because I've said too much. Okay, so let's see what this SDK looks like, and let's see if we can get something working in the next 10 minutes. Azure Cognitive Services, get the API key, Azure Content Safety. Look at that. Let's just do that. Let's do it. I don't need any of this. What am I doing? I think there's a custom tool that's been built. I don't know where it is. I asked them. I was like, didn't we build something for this? They haven't answered me. Our engineers live in a different time zone than I do. Okay. So it looks like we have these things in here. Let's go back over here. Endpoint. I think this thing gives us the. Yeah, I think we get it from the connection. 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 I don't even need that. Connection dot. Look at that. We have all this goodness. Look at that. There you go. So let's control this thing. And for this thing, we just say conexiones API key. How easy is that? Client. Conexion. I think we need API base. Where are you? API. Oh, it's endpoint. Endpoint. We don't even need this anymore. We don't need this. Okay. So we got this part working here. Key concept. Oh, wow. There's different. I didn't even know this. Looks like there's different types. There are different types of analysis available from this service. The following table describes the currently available text analysis. Scans text for this stuff. This stuff is so hard to demo because I'm not gonna put like overtly crappy stuff as a family show. So we'll have to figure out how to be violent without. These are the categories. Hate refers to all of this stuff. Nice. And then security levels. Nice. Oh, looks like there's a block list too. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. So here's the models that we want. Here is the models. Look at this. We're way ahead of ourselves. Look at this. I'm just gonna cut this out. Okay. Here we go. So client has it with open text, so we don't need that, right? Because we can pass in the thing. Okay. Okay. Analyze text options, and the question is what we're going to use. And the text category that we want is violence. Okay. Okay. What do we got here? Response equals. Oh, wow. It just knew. Response. Finish coding for me, AI. Thank you. I should be nicer to our robot overlords. Oh my gosh. Nicholas is like, I can't wait to see what he'll type in there. Career limiting move, Seth. Type in something really bad. No, I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna be very careful. Okay. And then I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna trust it. And then we're gonna return the severity. Return response dot violence result severity. Okay. Cool. Can I? Oh, good. I've already put something in there that is not untoward. And what I'm going to do is, let me go here into this thing, this little breaky point, and let's debug. By the way, Nicholas is all like, let's see if we can't get Seth to do something bad. Sorry, Halloween was in the United States was last week, but still, I need to. Sorry, no, that's it. I did not have. I wasn't in the Halloween spirit last week because I was still ill. Okay. All right. So we'll F10 this. F10. Look at the endpoint. Boom! Super safety. Super safety. Every time I do that, I feel like I'm a used car salesman, which is appropriate. F10. Here's the question coming in. Can I buy an axe to cut a person in the forest? F10. F10. What's the severity? 4. All right, let's see what the numbers mean. 4. Medium. All right. Which is cool. So this works. Look at that. And you can see the output there. And so the idea is that before you call an LLM, you can do this safety check. Oh wow, I gotta put in the walk-off music here, because we're almost done here. Let's try another question here. Career limiting move. How do you lodge many kills in Call of Duty Modern Warfare? Vote. Is that a career limiting question I just put in there? Let me move this over so you can see. How about this? So let's see what the safety system tells us about this question. We'll do a debug again. F10, 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 F10. 0? Well, I guess because it's in a game. I am a lover of peace. So, 2? I think the word lodge is confusing it. I think the word lodge is messing it up. What kind of gun should I use to kill in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3? Apparently there's every once in a while when I want to turn my brain off, I go on Twitch and I watch these dudes run around in Call of Duty. It's very interesting to watch. You know, my guilty pleasure here. All right, let's see what happens. 2. Obviously, this is very different. So let's do this one again. Very different. Notice the question. Okay, make sure I'm getting it in there. Ooh, 4! That's badness. Badness. And notice there's other categories, right? So if we go to the definition here, there's hate, self-harm, sexual, and violence. And looks like the cool thing is that you can also do it with images, maybe? Back. Yes. And you have block lists too. And looks like there's images, so you can also do with vision. Analyze text with block lists. This has got to be so hard. This has got to be so hard to test for. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. All right, my friends. So we got it to work. It's pretty cool. Another way to protect your customers when they're using LLM applications and even when you're not doing LLMs, this is awesome. Next week on the AI show, I think we're doing something special. Live. This is live too. But live from the reactor. Looks like it's me and Marco Casalena, the week of Ignite. That's great. Give me one more thing to do. Yeah, so that is the week of Ignite. Monday's show, I think we're doing live from the reactor. And so you're going to see me. I think we're going to have an audience too. I think we might have a studio audience. So make sure you tune in for that one. Marco Casalena, if you don't know, is just a tremendous. He demos so many cool things. And in preparation for Ignite, I saw some of his content. It's absolutely delightful. So make sure you tune in for that. We'll do that live next week from the reactor. Hopefully I'll be able to bring my board with all the special sounds. You know what I'm saying? This has been another episode of the AI Show. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Come with your questions. The show is for you. And so feel free to reach out anytime on Twitter or anywhere I can be found. Wherever you're watching the show, thank you so much for watching. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care.